Okay, Arnab, if I can, if you can stick to your promise, adhere to it and give me just 1 minute, I won't take too long. Number one, I think Chandan Mitra mentioned this earlier, why it's a central government responsibility, and I'll tell you why that's an atrocious statement to make. In India, you have 65 banks. There are states with thousands of chit fund companies.
No,
if you expect a central government,
are you going to answer my question?
No, I'm answering your question. But you got to understand, you can't blame the center.
Now there are two options.
The center cannot be micromanaging chit fund companies all over the country.
Or you can answer your prepared answer.
No, it's not a prepared answer.
I strongly recommend, Sanjay Jha, that you answer my question.
I am arguing on facts. I'm not arguing on speculation.
Thank you. Please continue.
Yeah.
I pointed out on the collusion and on the fact that all of this has now come out after you've had a falling out. Please answer that question.
Let me answer that. There's a political context. I'll give an answer to that. To understand the political context, it is important to appreciate the ground reality, which is what I have tried to establish for the benefit of your panelists and more important for the audience watching the program, that the center cannot be held responsible for a chit fund fraud. Point number two, where is the politics here? The TMC is responsible for the chit fund management. And the left front government of which Mr. Prasenjit Bose was a previous ambassador is equally responsible. And by the way, the role of Mr. Chaudhary is of a whistleblower. I think Mr. Chaudhary has exposed the Sharada group and Mr. Chaudhary has exposed the Rose Valley group. I think he's done a favor here. 1 minute. Mr. Vishwas, please don't have so much of अविश्वास. मैं खत्म कर रहा हूँ, 2 मिनट का वक्त दीजिए. मैं यही बताने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ कि Mr. Chaudhary has mentioned Rose Valley, which needs to be investigated. I think he'll be doing a human service to the society in case there is some misdemeanor going on. And as far as the Sharada is concerned, he's been proven right. He's given legal documents to the Prime Minister.
Your minister?
And by the way,
Sanjay Jha, please, come
1 minute. If you're saying that
your minister has been caught red-handed writing 3 letters. Chandan Mitra, do you think? I think Sanjay Jha is deflecting the question here. The question which I asked was, how is this now coming out now that the Congress and the TMC have had a falling out?
1 minute.
Why did the Congress not act on it when it was in collusion with the TMC or when it had a relationship with the TMC? Why is it coming out now? Chandan Mitra.
Well, you see, honestly, I must
why did he have to give it in writing?
The country has no faith that the Congress will ever act against any scam. Because most of the scams in this country have been conducted by the Congress and Congress-led governments. But yes, had the Trinamool Congress fallout come earlier, maybe they would have been a little more serious about this whole thing. But then, in every scam there is a Congress hand behind it. So I'm not surprised by the way the Congress has reacted. But Arnab, see now, I want to make a few serious observations for the future. West Bengal has a long history of people being swindled by these fraudsters, going back to Sancheta, which happened when I was in high school. From that time onwards, with great regularity, these kind of things have emerged. The point I want to make is that why is it that successive governments at the center have not thought of completely prohibiting chit fund operations in the country? Sorry to disagree with Sunil Alag, who says this is illegal. This it cannot be legal.
Got their hand in the till.
Cannot be legal. Cannot be allowed. Yes, because they have hand in the till. Is it not the responsibility of people who make public opinion, like your channel, our newspapers? The Pioneer has also been campaigning on this issue. With the chit fund operations must be banned, and also you have to ensure that when such scams happen, the kind of promoters are caught, their assets seized and distributed to the people whom they have swindled. But unless you ban these operations, nothing will ever happen.
Sunil Alag,
I think, look, I am saying that there is obviously a nexus. Yes, there's obviously a nexus between politics and the people who were involved, and they must be punished. The problem in the United States took place. They very quickly in 12 months arrested everybody, put everybody into jail to get people afraid of what is happening. But I disagree with Chandan when he's saying ban all chit funds, because it's like saying after Satyam fraud case, ban all IT companies. If you've got a question of a fraud in a particular company, then all those concerned must be taken in, and people have to be made to realize that the auditors of that company, what were the funds in? Look at all the other companies. Whenever those companies borrow, they say the purpose is for this. there's an audit taking place which we have to report that, look, I borrowed 100 rupees for doing this, am I misusing the funds? So we have to get into a situation where you make it mandatory for chit funds to get a credit rating from a respected agency. I'm now coming to the cure. But get everybody and put them into jail. No question. No question of putting everybody into jail for this.
Mr. Alag, I don't want to oversimplify it, but you know one thing I'll tell you, the law is there, the apparatus is there, the governments are there, the regulators are there.
The will is not there.
And I can tell you, these poor people, these poor people, these middle class, I cannot tell you today, your heart sinks when you hear those stories.
I'm with you.
Of a 70-year-old man who tells you, 1 minute, hear me sir, 70-year-old man tells you, I feel like killing myself. I have not 1 rupee left for my old age. Or a woman who tells you everything I put for my daughter's wedding. I can't get my daughter married now.
That physically
you see, these people, Sunil Alag, are not corporates. They don't have lawyers to hire.
I am not for 1 minute
saying the poor and the middle class have become collateral damage in India for this dirty politician, dirty Prasenjit Bose.
I think Mr. Alag is also not aware of the law.
You must punish them.
The point is that not any company can go and mobilize deposits in society.
That's right.
If you are a bank, you have to be regulated by the RBI.
That's right.
If you are a non-banking financial company, then there is RBI. If you are investing in the stock market, it is SEBI.
I agree with you.
If you are an insurance company, there is IRDA.
This is totally.
These companies have registered as real estate companies, as food processing units, etc. And they are mobilizing deposits.
This is
pure illegal.
I'm with you.
These funds are illegal.
How do you make it legal? How you have to punish them? I'm with you on this. Punish them, arrest them, put them into jail. Politicians, managers of the company, everybody, auditors, the whole lot. But how do we move forward now? You have to make it mandatory for all these, if you're allowing these companies to get a credit rating and move forward. But I'm not for 1 minute saying that they must not be put into jail for this. It's totally unfair.
What rubbish?
Go ahead, Bijan Mishra.
Lehman Brothers was closed in the United States because they mismanaged the funds.
Doesn't give the solution to those poor investors. Please try to remember, they need that money. Government has to find a mechanism to seize all those assets, auction them, get the money recovered within the next 2 months, assure the citizens that they will get their money in the next 30 days, give them that money back. That's the duty of the governance. That's the work which the government should be doing. They are not doing that. They are the law.
Chandan Mitra,
let me tell you that the Chit Fund Act is very clear. They are not allowed to invest in any other activities. You look at the law is very clear. What are those inspectors doing who are supposed to inspect the chit fund companies? What is the registrar of companies doing in West Bengal who should have been looking at them every month in their financial transactions?
Can I say something here? Can I say something here? I want to put one point of view in, gentlemen. In this case, it is not only about Sudipto Sen.
No.
It is about all the people who could have caught Sudipto Sen and saved the lives of those people. Omission is as big as commission. And inaction, Chandan Mitra, is complicity. Inaction is complicity.
And such events are going on
even today. Do you agree with me?
Such activities are going on even today.
There was proactive collusion. Proactive collusion or no?
Chandan Mitra.
Proactive collusion. It is not inaction. Proactive collusion. From the finance minister to the Minister of State for Health, right to the MPs of Trinamool, and everywhere was proactive collusion. Now this temptation, I'm sorry to say that the people are tempted, and this has to stop. The source of the temptation must be blocked. And yes, there are regulations. Regulations are observed only in their violation. What are the regulators doing? When they are, sometimes they warn that some illegal activity is going on. No, what are you doing? Why just merely write letters and then sit back and sit back and ignore? You have to act.
1 second. Any company that goes to borrow has to get a credit rating.
One at a time.
Other than insurance companies and banks must be banned completely. And anybody found doing that should be arrested, put behind bars, money recovered and redistributed back to the people from whom they raise the deposits.
All companies, when they borrow money, get a credit rating for everybody to see.
Sunil Alag.
All companies, when they borrow and collect money, they are regulated by getting a credit rating which they declare to the investors. chit funds are the only companies working with no regulations whatsoever. What Prasenjit has said. We have to bring them in with regulations. So people, when they invest, once again, people when they invest, they know the credit rating of the company before they invest.
We don't expect the Congress to do it.
No, not the. I'm not making a political statement on this.
Sunil Alagh, I'm sorry. Sunil Alagh, I'm sorry to burst that bubble, sir. Sir, you are a very experienced man and I am not. But I would like to tell you, Sunil Alagh, these are poor people. These are not people, Sunil Alagh, these are not people. These are not people who will look at the credit worthiness of a company. These are people and they are fooled by a group of politicians and government working together.
The poor people must not be compensated. I am more worried about what are you going to do from today. Okay, you compensate these people of this chit fund. How are you going to protect everybody else? That I'm taking the matter forward. I'm not disagreeing with you. You have to make sure now that every single chit fund that is working gets into a regulatory mode.
Sunil, I'll tell you the answer.
I'm for you. You have to arrest them. You have to put everybody into jail and return the money. So Arnab, not for 1 minute am I saying that.
Arnab, the main point that you're missing today, that the only way forward, if you want to regulate chit funds,
my question is to Virendra Jain. Sir, you represent the investors.
One point, it is important to get the banking.
Go ahead.
Because our banking system yet hasn't reached out to the depths of India where it needs to. That's why the money lender and these chit funds proliferate and take the common man for a ride. And that is, I would agree, is a responsibility for any government. That's the long-term solution. And you can arrest these guys for the moment, regulate them for the time being for sure. But I think the public sector and the private sector banks must be allowed to open more branch banking. That is what will be revolutionary for the long term.
Next 50 years.
One minute. Are we discussing banking or are we discussing swindling?
No, you need to discuss
Sanjay Jha, you've not understood the subject. Do you think that minister should be sacked by the Prime Minister till he's investigated? Because I don't. This is a country in which questions have been asked in Parliament for cash. Sanjay Jha, don't forget the reality of this country. Questions have been asked for cash.
And now lawyers are
and I'm asking here today, why is a minister writing a letter, withdrawing a letter, writing another letter? Is the business of the minister to write letters like letters to the editor?
Happen as of today. I believe the minister is a whistleblower.
That if Sanjay Jha's question is accepted and the minister is sacked, he will hire Nalini Chidambaram and sue the Prime Minister for unfair dismissal.
No, I think that's a little unfair. One second. That's a little unfair.
1 minute. Arun Jaitley is a lawyer and I think he's a damn good lawyer.
Only Dr. Virendra Jain, please. Dr. Virendra Jain, please allow the investor point of view in, please. Dr. Virendra Jain, are investors worried today? Among the investing community in India, middle class people who put in a lot of money into these schemes, is there a growing sense of fear?
Definitely. Definitely. I mean, upper middle class, they are totally disillusioned with the systems we have. We are talking about the very poor and the poor ones. Obviously, they would be absolutely not only disillusioned, shattered, as you were saying. And the basic problem is we have a penchant for making laws. We don't see that they are implemented. And if they are not implemented, nothing happens to the bureaucracy. This cuts across all the laws. We've seen in the securities law, do you know, even today, nobody monitors public issues money raised. Hundreds of crores raised through public issues is not monitored either by SEBI or MCA. They have been fighting for 10 years. So that is the reality here.
I'll only wrap this up by saying that I get a strong feeling that all of this happens because the focus is entirely on the rich, the super rich, the corporates.
Absolutely.
Nobody thinks about the poor man.
Absolutely.
Nobody thinks about the
middle class.
And they are exploited
by the political class.
And there is a general feeling in our country that whether it is a poor man's daughter, 5-year-old daughter who gets raped, whether it is a poor man who is retired at the age of 70, whose life savings are lost, or whether it is a middle class woman who cannot get her daughter married, these are collateral damage. We're a big country, we'll move on. These people cannot touch us, and that feeling has to change. Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me on that debate. And by the way, regardless of who participates or not, our investigation into CHITGATE, I can assure you, has only just started.